Now, Sports Talk with Brodes. Here's Hunter Brody.
Hey everyone, before we get started, first off, I'm pissed. Second off, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you are new to the channel, and also slam that like button. It would mean the absolute world to me. Real quick, every Wednesday, I do a Hump Day giveaway over on my Twitter page at Brodes81. We're giving away a Bryce Harper jersey. Make sure you are entered to win. There's a pinned tweet at the top of my profile that explains the rules. Follow me, follow at Brodes Media, and retweet the tweet. Every Wednesday, there's a new giveaway. We just gave away an Eagles Devontae Smith jersey the week before. It's nonstop phenomenal gifts that you want to be a part of. So stay engaged, all right? Enjoy me getting pissed off. What is going on, everyone? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Brodes. I'm pissed! And I will apologize. I was a little busy this weekend, so I wasn't able to go game by game on you. I'm pretty much analyzing this entire series as a whole, but quite honestly, I'm disgusted and disturbed with what I saw in Game 3. I'm going to lose my shit. I don't even care that they were close to coming back. So it was 10-8 with your star up to bat. Yeah, your superstar that's forced to play when he's already banged up and he had to bunt in an earlier situation when he shouldn't even be playing at all because Scott Kingery blows and he strikes out 3 times, swinging, may I add. He sucks. He can't play the field. He can't play anything. Now, you were informed afterwards that he felt dizzy and all, but here's my problem with this team right now, okay? There's so many different issues that we just witnessed in this 10-8 loss, where if your mentality afterwards is they fought back, shame on you. Shame on you. You should not be taking their work ethic as an optimistic view on what we just witnessed. This is a disaster. The Didi Gregorius injury, I'm not saying the injury is a problem on anyone specifically. It's the nature of the sport. But the fact that you have no Didi Gregorius, no JT Realmuto, Bryce Harper being forced to get thrown in. Look, Joe Girardi and him were talking in the clubhouse and whatnot, but that's a mess. That's a mess. You don't have him out there. Why would you have him out there? And the fact that that is your option bothers me. The fact that that's what you have to do bothers me. The fact that you had one healthy bench piece heading into this damn game, that bothers me. The error, sloppy. I don't know what's going on in right field. I don't know what's going on with Brad Miller. Your outfield is what? Infielders! What's happening? This is embarrassing. When I watch this team, I'm embarrassed. And right now, they're 21-20, and the only thing that's keeping us somewhat with this view of they're still in this thing is because the Mets are 18-16, leading the division. And keep in mind, they just had a fight the other day between McNeil and Francisco Lindor, and they rallied off a couple wins after that. So is this the lowest of the low? Gene Segura and Joe Girardi getting at it in the dugout after one of the innings where, I mean, what are we doing? Then when Joe Girardi takes out Chase Anderson, Gene Segura is hanging around the infield, not even going to the mound. And how about this for some audio? Here's Joe Girardi after the game, post-game, going back and forth with Jim Salisbury after the game was over when he was trying to get some answers on what happened with Gene Segura. So here we go. Take a listen.
You can ask all you want. You got everything you're going to get about it. All right, I'm done with it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Jim and then Bob.
I know you're doing your job, but that's it.
Joe, conversation or confrontation?
Next question.
How about the optics of all this? I mean,
Next
today,
question. Next question.
I mean, from
Jimmy,
baseball.
I'm not going to talk about it, Jimmy. I'm not going to talk about it. Next question. You got a baseball question? Ask me a baseball question.
How about that? So Joe Girardi showing the frustration, showing that there's some turmoil inside the clubhouse. And he's bothered by the sloppy play, the brutal errors. And Gene Segura, he went on this great streak of not having any errors. And then as of late, it's been quite the opposite, and it's been a disaster. I wonder, because in Game 2 of this series, there was that pop fly that went up, and Nick Maton, Gene Segura, who had it, who didn't have it. And then after the game, Joe Girardi voiced his frustration. Maybe Gene Segura didn't love the fact that he was going in the direction of Gene Segura. Maybe he thought it was fully on Nick Maton, so he didn't love the way that the manager maybe discussed it in the idea of like, hey, Gene Segura should have had that, or Gene Segura should have done this. Or, I don't know. I'm speculating. I'm not saying it is or it isn't. I'm just throwing it out there. Maybe there's something behind. There's a correlation between what we saw on the field today, where Gene Segura and Joe Girardi went at it, and Gene Segura and what happened in yesterday's game. It's been sloppy, no doubt. Here's what I can't get behind, though, because now all of a sudden Gene Segura is not a winning player. Oh, there's a reason why he's been on 5 teams. Why? Because the guy has made 2-3 errors in the last 2 games. But prior to that, before these last 2 games, was anyone saying anything negative about Gene Segura? Was anyone saying that this guy is a problem? Was anyone saying that he can't hang and he's the reason why this team is where it is? No! He was hitting 300. He was constantly getting you multi-hit games. You were talking about how strong he was to the point where you needed to put him in the number 2 spot in the lineup because he was actually thriving so much offensively. So after 2 baseball games, now all of a sudden Gene Segura is such a monster issue. And I'm not going to tell you that he's perfect. I'm not going to tell you he's just automatic and he's just so fantastic. It is weird that someone with his numbers have been flopped around a bit, but I do think it's extreme, so extreme, that 2 games before where we are now, not one negative thing was mentioned about Gene Segura, and deservingly so. There was nothing negatively towards him, and now all of a sudden he's just egregious and abysmal. I just can't get behind that narrative whatsoever. But I brought all this up because we just witnessed the New York Mets go through a weird funk, and whatever you want to believe with the rat story, which is all nonsense, by the way. I can't believe that there would be anyone that would believe a rat story. There was something happening internally, and they turned the corner and rallied together a few wins. Now, they had a tough series against the Tampa Bay Rays, and we didn't expect them to keep up the pace that they went on after that debacle. How do you respond? If this team starts a series out and punches the Miami Marlins in the face, then it somewhat can close the door on this. Here's the problem, though. You're not healthy. No Didi, no JT, no Bryce Harper, Andrew now. I mean, it's a nightmare where you are with your health. And oh, by the way, you're trotting out Chase Anderson, who fucking sucks, may I add. He's trash. He's getting just destroyed. But quite frankly, when I watch this game, like, Chase Anderson is the last thing on my mind after what I witnessed today. And that's not crazy. That's not asinine. Yeah, I saw the first few innings, but did you see what else transpired in those first innings? I watched today's game, and your 5th starter sucking is probably 9th or 10th on my list compared to all the other drama that was put out there. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy what we're seeing defensively. It's crazy that throughout this series, I'm watching pitchers who blow look like they should win an award. When you're striking out the rate that you're striking out, it's bad. For the game to play out the way that it did in Game 2, Aaron Nola, I'm sorry, dude. Your road splits, home road split, it's got to get better. It's embarrassing. You're supposed to be the guy that you can rely on to cool things down, calm things down. This team is bad on the road. We know they're not good away from Citizens Bank Park. So you need to rely on your best pitcher, your number 1, to go on the road and pitch a good game. Yet he's losing command of his curveball all year long. What are you doing? Nola, you got to start stronger. I'm not satisfied with 6 2/3 and the amount of runs he allowed early. I know he battled back. He battled back and did help out the team. And there's a problem. I shouldn't say help out the team, but he he wasn't the major issue because your offense scored 0 runs. You lost 4-0 in that second game. How do you win a fucking baseball game with 0 runs? You don't. But still, I'm sorry. You can't get rocked the way you were getting rocked early on and then putting your team at a deficit early on. You have to be stronger. So Aaron Nola went 6 2/3, allowed 9 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, and 9 Ks in 103 pitches. But I'm sorry. I hold you to a high standard. You have to come out of the gate stronger. You need to put this team in a better position early in the game. And then from there, it's got to be more consistent out of Nola. This isn't the first time. He is not good when he is pitching in a different ballpark. Let me ask you this question. You're on the road. It's a wild card game. Or it's an early series in the playoffs. You're on the road. Let me say that again. You're on the road. One more time. You're on the road. On the road. Not in Citizens Bank Park. On the road. Can you trust Aaron Nola? Because the answer is no way in hell. No way in hell can I rely on Aaron Nola right now. He is abysmal in his number 1 rival's ballpark in Atlanta. Let me know how you can be that trash away from your home building and in a stadium that is your biggest number 1 rival. Maybe your second. You want to say the Mets are your number 1 rival? Fine. Probably is true that we despise the Mets more than the Braves, but that doesn't discredit my point here that he's just a disaster in that area, and it's got to be smoother. Game 1, they won 5-1, and it was awesome to see Reese come up big. It was another dreadful offensive performance. You know, I was on The Fanatic today, and I brought up the question, if you look at the 3 faces of this team, what's the biggest issue? The fact that they're striking out at an elite rate? I mean, you're talking about the 3rd most strikeouts per game in the entire league with over 10 Ks per game on average. Is it that? Is it the fact that your defense is the ugliest thing I've ever seen and players that are 4 years old, 4, not 6, not 7, not 12, 4 years old can play better than you defensively? Or is it some of your pitching, whether it's some of the starters like Aaron Nola, as I alluded to, or your bullpen piece, well, your pitching as a whole? What's the biggest issue? And I would like to say my answer would be like the offense. And I know this defense is just like seriously just egregious and just pathetic. It's unacceptable at a major league level. And for anyone to say that it's Joe Girardi's fault, no, it's not. This is Major League Baseball. For them to not be communicating, you have to tell a Major League player of X amount of years that you have to call off your shortstop, or the shortstop has to call off your second baseman, or Bryce Harper has to call off Odubel, or Odubel has to call off Bryce Harper. It's Major League Baseball. You don't have to tell them, hey, guys, rally them out in right field, sit them down together in pretzel style, Indian style, however you call that when you fold your legs and you're sitting down. Remember, everyone, this is what you do. Hey, everyone, go get the freeze pops. Hey, Joe, don't forget the freeze pops afterwards, after the game. Hey, after the game, let's go to right field and everyone have their juice boxes ready. Get the fuck out of here. They need to clean it up themselves. We're talking about professional athletes. Gene Segura messing up his own. Gene Segura messing up a double play. Alec Boehm sucks at third base. That's on Alec Boehm sucking at third base. Reese Hoskins being bad at first base. That's on Reese Hoskins being bad at first base. All of it is just garbage. What we're seeing at the wall, the misplays, the communication, or the lack thereof, I should say. Talk. Everyone knows in every damn sport that you need to communicate with your teammates so everyone is on the same page. So if you think for 1 second that there should be any sort of praise for fighting back in this game, you're an asshole. You're an absolute asshole. The only positive is this. Nick Mason. This kid can play. The kid can play. And when his number gets called, he's stepping up. Now, I'm not saying he's perfect. He is making mistakes out there as well. I brought up what happened with Gene Segura. But I'm just saying he's producing offensively. My man had 2 homers. He had his first homer of his career and backed it up with a second one. And then he had a 2 RBI hit later on in the game to get on the board a bit more. I just feel like the kid is, every time his number's called, so everyone gets healthy. And we talked about how much we liked the lineup and we liked the order of Andrew McCutchen, Gene Segura, Bryce Harper, JT Realmuto, Alec Boehm, Didi Gregorius. When everyone was healthy, it's like, this is the best. With Odubel being plugged in at center field, this is the best that you can possibly do. And he kind of took a back seat. And with that back seat, he finally gets a chance again, and look what he's doing. He also had 2 hits the other night, and Rhys Hoskins was on base 3 times as well in that 4-0 loss, but Nick Maton gave you a couple hits. Now, I want to go to where are we here? Phillies beat us 10-8. What a disaster to look at that scoreboard and really see that was the case. Just ridiculous. I mean, it really was. You got your left fielder, Brad Miller. You got your right fielder, and Scott Kingery. And that's what you got out there. That's your outfield. Your infielders playing outfield. And Scott Kingery is not a Major League Baseball player. Okay? Not a Major League Baseball player. He does not deserve to ever play Major League Baseball again until he's hitting 600 in the minors. So until he's hitting 600 in AAA or with the taxi squad or whatever the case may be, I don't want to see Scott Kingery's face because it's a joke. And don't tell me that the organization has screwed this kid up forever. Is there something to be said about maybe the launch angle? Well, maybe. But at this point, I mean, it only goes, at some point I got to look at the player too. So, how about this? He isn't succeeding at the plate. Duh. We all see that. So then make a fucking play out in the field. Huh? Don't let it impact you to the level where you're now a disgrace in the outfield. Don't let your offense and your abysmal approach at the plate affect your work ethic out in the field. But now you can't even play any position at all because you're awful. So Scott Kingery, don't feel bad for Scott Kingery as if the only reason why he's this way is solely because of the organizational approach to him. No. How about we put some blame on the athlete as well for not being able to step up? And if you are going to blow in one area, don't blow in all areas because you feel so sorry for yourself. Because that's what I sense when I look at a player like Scott Kingery right now. I'm so fired up. I'm spitting all over myself. I got spit on my hands. I just felt myself drool underneath my chin. And that's what happens when I think about this damn team. They make me feel like I want to throw up. Here's Bryce Harper coming up to plate, and he's bunting, and he's popping up. Really? Yeah, what a great organizational move. What a great position to be in. I'm pissed. That is terrible. God awful. That's what we just experienced today as a whole. I cannot believe it. I'm still in shock mode. The game ended a couple hours ago, and I am still in shock mode that is the trash that we had to sit through today. That's low. That's low of the low. And I am paranoid that we are watching a team blowing up so much internally that there's no bouncing back. I'm not saying that's the case. There's a lot of baseball to be played. I've been in many locker rooms, though. Not 162 games. I'm talking more 50 to 60 games. But I've been in locker rooms where around game 20, around game 25, you knew. There was a sense in the locker room. It just didn't feel right. It didn't click right. There was no brotherly love, no pun intended. And you realize that, this team just wasn't a team. This team was just not gelling. The decision-making wasn't proper. No one wanted to fight for one another. You didn't feel that connection. You didn't feel like a strong team. It was more individuals just out there playing as individuals. And there was no respect. And I'm just seeing a manager in Joe Girardi who's supposed to be cool, calm, and collected. He's losing his damn mind. And he's bursting, and his face is showing it, and his face is turning red. He's screaming at Jim Salisbury, for God's sake. I mean, come on. Jim, next question. Let's play that again because it fascinates me. I'll cut out the beginning part here, and I'll wait for Jim Salisbury part. All right, here we go.
Jim and then Bob.
I know you're doing your job, but that's it.
Joe, conversation or confrontation?
Next question.
How about the optics of all this? I mean,
Next
today.
question.
I mean, from
Jimmy,
the baseball.
I'm not going to talk about it, Jimmy. I'm not going to talk about it. Next question. You got a baseball question? Ask me a baseball question.
Now, I don't have a problem at all with Jim Salisbury asking the question. That's his job. He is going to pout. Like, we just watched a manager and Gene Segura go at it in a dugout. To think that we're not going to try and get answers as a journalist, you keep asking that question, baby. You keep drilling that question. You ask the shit out of that question. You just word it a different way. You try and maneuver around it. Now he's going to hit you with that, and fine. If he wants to go down that road, he is allowed to go down that road. He's obligated to go down that road. And I understand, too, from a team standpoint, we're keeping this internal. Maybe you could have went with that. We're going to stay with this one internal. Things happen. It's the heat of the moment. We get upset because we care about the game. We're passionate about the game. When things hit and when adversity hits, sometimes we react, and we're going to move forward with this internally. Maybe that's a different answer. Maybe Joe Girardi should have went with that approach instead of next question, next question, next question. That makes it seem like you got nothing compared to we'll stay in-house with this. We'll attack it as a team. We'll have these discussions internally, and we'll figure out what we're going to do moving forward. Maybe you won't have the pounding as much from Jim Salisbury, but I don't have an issue with that at all. I guess I wonder, though, how do you recover from this, especially when your team isn't healthy, so you can't rely on your veterans to help you turn that next page? Are we just witnessing? Look, I gave Gabe Kapler a ton of shit because what did he do? He had a clubhouse where guys were smashing television screens. Carlos Santana, there was boiled annoyance involved, and the team just did not play as a team. Well, here we are with Joe Girardi, and we're 21 and 20, so they're 41 games into the season, and we're already having blow-ups, and we're having the manager losing his cool. Joe has been a manager this year that has settled into 2021 era of managing. He's been player-friendly. He said some things here and there like, we got to be stronger in that area. Nola has to be better here. And, I'm not going to say call it out, guys, but he keeps it real to a degree sometimes. Like, yeah, Aaron Nola needs to be a little bit sharper in the beginning. Or, hey, Zach Eflin probably would like to have that one back because we've seen him be better. Things like that he stated. Now, though, it's starting to get to a level of this guy's losing his cool, and he's probably losing his cool because there's a lot happening internally that just has to change, and he can only keep up with it for so much. And the fact that it keeps happening over and over and over again, normally when that happens after 41 games, it's a reality of your team, and it's not so much they snap out of it. It's this is who you are. This is the identity of the team. Look, I'll tell you this, though. It's playoff time. Big stakes, bigger promotions. It's time to hammer the over and score some cash. DraftKings Sportsbook is giving you a chance to lower the over-under on a featured playoff game. All players who place a bet on the featured basketball game will have a hand in lowering the over-under on the game. That's right. For every 1,500 players who bet the over on the select game, the over-under will drop by 1 point. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app and use promo code Brodes when you sign up to hammer the over. For every 1,500 people that bet the over in the featured game, the line will decrease by 1 point. Yes, this is your chance to improve the odds of the over hitting. So tell your friends and family, this is a team effort. Hammer the over and improve your odds of doubling your money. That's code Brodes for a limited time. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older, Pennsylvania only. Restrictions apply. Max $25 wager. One per customer. Offer ends May 23rd. In partnership with Meadows Racetrack and Casino. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, you know the deal right now. We are going to go to the Anytime Hotline. I guess real briefly, just because I did a quick hitter on game one, and game two was somewhat of a dud offensively, and the only thing to yell about was really just a couple errors here and there. More than just a couple errors, but no, it was a couple errors. A couple errors is bad in baseball, though, in one damn game. And Aaron Nola, of course. In game one, Vinny V showed you some strong play. 5 2/3, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, 7 Ks. So pretty strong out of Vinny V, and he's making a case for himself. And it's funny, if it wasn't for him actually performing well, would you have seen him play in the outfield? Seriously, though, would you have seen him play in the outfield? Let's go to the hotline calls.
Well, Girardi was fucking pissed during that press conference. I got a question, though, for you, Brodes. How do we keep Nick Maton in this lineup? Gene's going to be healthy at some point, right alongside with Didi and the rest of the players. Herrera seems to be doing okay in center, so would moving Maton there even really be an option? What do we do? We're not an American League team. We have no extra spot for a hitter. How do we keep Maton in this lineup?
I think the way you keep him in the lineup is, right now at least, you worry about that once we get there. But with Didi Gregorius, I just don't think that you're going to be seeing him anytime soon. There is clearly a problem there where he's naturally going to find his way into the lineup just based off of injuries. And there's a lot of injured guys right now. So you get him in there as much as possible at some of these positions because of injury. And who knows? I mean, the last I saw with Didi Gregorius, and I'll kind of search something right now as we continue to speak, but the last thing I saw about Didi Gregorius, it was not good. It was seriously not good. So if we're now talking about that level of seriousness, I mean, who knows? Maybe he just ends up getting his way in general. So 4 days ago, manager Joe Girardi said may need a couple days off to manage the injury. I think it's gotten a little bit more serious since 4 days ago. I think, was it Scott Lauber? Let me go to Twitter real quick because I think I saw Scott Lauber, who covers the Phillies for the Inquirer, and the title of his piece, and it sucks because I don't have any more clicks on his feed, but Phillies, Didi Gregorius, worried about reoccurrence of swelling in his elbow. I can't click on it because I don't have any more Philadelphia Inquirer reads. Right now, you only get a limited before it resurfaces. But here's a quote. "To be honest, I don't know what's going on," said Gregorius, who will undergo further testing when the team returns home Monday. So basically is exactly what I'm telling you here is you're going to see him play in the spot of Didi Gregorius. And with Didi Gregorius, I'm anticipating him being out of the lineup for probably a decent amount of time. So that's where he's going to find now. And from there, I mean, there's so much that can happen from now till that point where maybe there's another door that opens due to an unfortunate circumstance of somebody else where Nick Maton can slide in.
Chase Anderson does not deserve to play or to start a game for this Phillies team ever again. Here's the thing. If he wasn't such a smoldering tire fire of a pitcher, we actually would have had a good chance to win this game. I say stop jerking around with Spencer Howard and at least give the kid a chance to start an actual set of games in the big leagues because Chase Anderson is fucking trash. And it really shows the state of this team where Bryce Harper, who's hurt, who literally tried to kill himself in order to try to help his team win, has to come into the game and try to win the game when we don't have anyone else.
That's more of the problem for me. I'm with you. Chase Anderson was garbage, and we kind of knew that Chase Anderson was garbage even before the season started. And we talk about Dave Dombrowski and the moves that he made. Well, the Matt Moore and Chase Anderson experience, it flat out was a disaster. Now, I wanted to go down the road of Paxton, and Paxton had a serious injury, and I don't know if that would have absolutely happened here. It's a whole different scenario. You're pitching on a different day. I mean, I don't know. I can't foresee what would have happened at that point. Maybe the baseball gods were taking down Paxton this year anyway, no matter what team he was on, no matter what pitch he was throwing. So, from that angle of it, I don't know. But he ended up going with cheaper guys, taking flyers on players, and they both have just been terrible. So, yeah, the Chase Anderson thing's bad, but I almost look at it as, with Kingery blowing, with Gene Segura and Joe Girardi getting into a little bit of a problem. Andrew Knapp has a rib injury before the game starts, and you're limited in your options. You're throwing Bryce Harper out there. You really don't have a bench. The errors. Chase Anderson, your fifth starter. If you clean up all those things that I just mentioned to you, right, and Chase Anderson's still your fifth starter, you're in a different spot. You feel totally different about this team, still knowing that Chase Anderson is an issue. So I'm with you. I'm with you. The first couple innings were just egregious, and he was getting rocked. And speaking of rocked, how about Vlad Guerrero? My Lord, is this guy just crushing the baseball against this team? And when Kinsler was on the mound, what Vlad Guerrero did to that pitch, that thing was launched 9,758 feet. I'm curious now that I think about it. I wonder what the official was for the launch of that pitch. So I want to go to it because that thing was crushed. So they labeled that at 465 feet. And just to put it in comparison, Maton's first homer was 391. McCutchen's homer was 395. Maton's second homer was 403. Nice to say second homer, but Bo Bichette had one that was 437. That's just crazy. It really is. Look, the Phillies had 12 hits. I can't believe they actually had 12 hits in one baseball game. I would have never thought in a billion years that they would have that many hits. But if you look at the other side, they still struck out 11 times. Ray had 9 strikeouts, And then their bullpen had 2 strikeouts, so they struck out 11 times even with those hits, which, is just a common theme. If you look through their lineup today, my Lord, so many damn hits. 3 hits, 2 hits, 3 hits, 1 hit, 1 hit, 2 hits, 2 hits. Just a joke. Just an absolute joke.
So let me see if I understand this. Sometimes Aaron Nola forgets how to throw his curveball. Is this a thing with other pitchers too? I've never heard of it. If it's a grip problem, maybe he can just use pine tar like the rest of the pitchers in the league or in baseball do.
Yeah, they're not wrong about that. You can see it all the time. Guys do the old, they spin around, they have something on their glove, and as they're spinning around, they're getting some tar on their fingers. The thing is, it doesn't happen when he's at home. It only happens when he is on the road just in general, just his difference in games. I'm going to his career splits just so I can put it in number form for everybody there. Okay, so at home in his career, he is giving us a 2.90 ERA, and he's 35-17. 35-17 is his win-loss record on his home field with a 2.90, so sub-3 ERA at home. On the road, 4.13, and he's a 500 pitcher. So his win percentage is .673 at home, and it's .500 on the road, and it's terrible. I mean, guys just absolutely murder him, and he loses command, and he doesn't have the right grip. I'm with you. I mean, you lose that much of your curveball consistently. Come on, Aaron Nola. Like, what are you doing? Bear down. You need to be a better version of yourself. You need to be someone that we can rely on with that secondary pitch. You have to. There's no excuses. You are at the top end of the rotation. Everyone has a clunker. Everyone has a tough one. Everyone has a bad day at the office. I'm not asking you to be a human being that never makes mistakes. You are allowed to make mistakes. The mistakes are happening too frequently, though. When we're winning games with Vince Velasquez, and I'm watching Vince Velasquez mow down this lineup, and you're having trouble to do it early. And I know what you did afterwards. You almost went 7. You had 9 strikeouts, but that's not the point. You need to put this team in a good starting point on the road, knowing that they have so many flaws and knowing that they strike out a lot and knowing that their offense hasn't been buzzing, which is not your fault that the offense hasn't been clicking. But you do know they haven't been clicking, so you can't put them down in a hole so damn early and just get rocked nonstop and balls are going in the gap. And I mean, come on, man. Come on. And balls just getting pounded. Come on, man. Ridiculous, Nola.
What's up, Hunter? I'm here after the Phillies lose 8-10 to the Blue Jays in the meeting. But I thought, for Tracy Anderson, bro, he might be like a number, 20 starter. Like, Howard and Diago, he had 4, and he's really good today. But, man, these injuries are getting really concerning. Harper, he was bunting. He went D, JT. Trinity hit the wall. King already sucks anyway. But yeah, it's rough. But man, also, Nick Mason had a beauty of a game.
He did. Nick Maton is definitely earning the respect, and every time his number is called, there is a common theme here. He's showing up, and he's delivering, and he's making a name for him. So kudos to him, and hopefully it continues. With Chase Anderson and Spencer Howard, I'm willing to give Spencer Howard a shot here. There's a reason why they're not doing it. I don't know what that is. I mean, there is a limit on his innings, I guess. They really want to limit his innings. There has been an injury history. Are they babying him, or is there a legitimate concern? Are they trying to hide something? Maybe. I'm just speculating. I'm not saying that I have the information, but what if there's something happening with him and they don't want to admit it? So instead of making a story of, Spencer Howard's injured again, they kind of push it behind the closed door and they slide it underneath the rug. So we're not asking questions about the injury side of things, and they think that there's 2 ways to go about this. We admit that there's some injury problems with Spencer Howard again, or they just keep asking why he's not up, and we'd rather maneuver and slither around us not calling him up instead of actually admitting that there's an issue with his arm. I don't know if but nothing else makes sense. That's the thing. I'm trying to logically look at at this. I don't know what else it could possibly be other than that, because there's no reason. What you've seen out of Anderson, out of Matt Moore, out of this rotation, why can't Spencer Howard be here? What is holding you back from Spencer Howard at least go? It can't be worse. It might be the same, and if it's the same, all right, then we can address that when we find out it's the same. But it definitely cannot be worse. So please let me know why he's not throwing on the diamond for the Phillies. It's crazy. So that's where we're at. We are at a block in the road, if you will, fighting right above 500. Shocker. Thank you all so much for listening, and I will see you next time.